to the Point of Impact podcast with Rick McDaniel. Thanks for joining us today. Get ready to be inspired and motivated to live a high-impact life. Now, here's Rick.
Welcome to the Point of Impact podcast. I'm Rick McDaniel. Great to have you joining us as we are kicking off Season 6. Last week started Season 6, and now today we're going to go into a particular theme. And for those of you that are new to the podcast, just so you kind of know how we do it here at Point of Impact, we don't do very many interviews. I'll actually be doing an interview. It'll air probably maybe like the beginning of November, but very rare, like maybe one a season or something like that. So we're not like a lot of podcasts that do interviews. Most of it is just me speaking on various subjects, and the way I approach that is kind of twofold. I do themes, so I'll stick with the theme usually for at least a month, maybe longer, on a particular subject like success or happiness or stress or influence, whatever it is. This one we're going to kick off today. I'm going to take off of the Olympic theme, so it's really about like winning at the game of life. You know, how can you be a winner at the game of life? How can you be a champion? Gold medal living is another way to say it. So I do themes, and then I do what I just call one-offs, just a single episode on a particular subject. It could be something current. It just could be something that captures my attention that I think you will enjoy, that will be helpful to you, and those can span all kinds of different things. Many of those, not all, but most of them, are something like 10 ways to, 15 habits for, that kind of focus of a 10 or 15, sometimes 5, but usually 10 or 15, where I'll just rattle off in one episode various habits or approaches or ways or practices, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of how we do it around here. And today we are going to kick off this new theme, gold medal living, just, winners at the game of life. The idea being the Olympics, I realized, a couple months ago, but I was on break. So now that we're back in season, I just definitely want to focus on these principles because the Olympians are marvelously inspirational to us. And this is an inspirational and motivational podcast. So can't kind of let the Olympics go by and not try to gather out of that some inspiration and motivation and the principles that I'd like to share with you. So we're gonna jump in, and we're gonna start with prepare to win. It all begins with preparation. That's the first step, preparation. The old success motto, is when preparation meets opportunity. And some opportunities like the Olympics are known to us, but many opportunities in life just come by, and you got to be prepared so you can take advantage of the opportunity and experience success. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Before we do, I just want to tell you that I did write an article for Fox News, foxnews.com, and it's an article that I am really excited about because I think in so many ways, it kind of sums up what I believe about inspiration, motivation, about, what can happen in a person's life. The name of the article is Overcome the Barriers that are blocking you from a beautiful life. Overcome the barriers that are blocking you from a beautiful life. So I believe God wants all of us to have a beautiful life. And in order to have a beautiful life, we've got to overcome the mountains in our way, the problems, the difficulties that block us from being able to experience that. So that piece came out on Sunday, so it may not, it's not going to be on the front of this site. They put it under opinion. It's kind of funny category. It's not like it's some sort of political piece, but that's where they put my inspirational writing goes under opinion. Now they might also slot it under lifestyle or something like that. But if you just type in my name in the search, or you can go into opinion and just scroll back a little bit, and you should be able to find and overcome the barriers that are blocking you from a beautiful life. Just some good inspiration for you to just have the beautiful life, live the beautiful life that that I believe God wants you to live. So that's happening. And I would just also say, just chugging along here with my new book, and I mentioned last week over the summer, getting the cover, and that's always the first thing that happens, and going through the editing process and into print and all that sort of stuff. So we're getting close. November 18th, Monday, November 18th, and the book is entitled Greater. Greater. A greater life is waiting for you. How exciting is that to just consider? There's a greater life that's waiting for you. You're meant for greater things, and you've got to just believe that God's really preparing a greater future for you. So I can't wait to share that message with you, to focus on greater and all that entails. So we'll talk more about that, but let's just jump in today. So again, like 2 months ago, right? More than 2 months ago now, I guess 2 months from would have been right in the heart of the Olympics, would have just been gotten going. So about 2 months ago, over in Paris, France, gotten going. Boy, that's not something I usually say. Got started, and it was a huge success for the United States team, for sure. I think it's a huge success for the world. It's just a great event and brings people together, and I think France did a great job hosting it. Paris is such a beautiful place and a special place to go. I've been there, and I can tell you, I went there with my wife. She loved it. If you're married, it's a good place, I think, for couples to go, married folks that want a little jolt of romance. It'll do it for you. But that is not today's message. Today we're talking about the Olympics and just some stuff here. Team USA, 126 medals, 40 golds, 44 silvers, 42 bronze. 8th consecutive games that we are the leader in those categories. We led all nations with 257 different medalists, which again, it's not just a few. It's, in fact, in many ways there were less of the superstar giant medal winners like the Michael Phelps than ever before. I think it's also exciting that the total medal count of 126 is the most ever by a U.S. team, 2 qualifications in a non-boycotted games. There's been a couple games that have been boycotted, and outside of the U.S. because France had their best games. It's just, if you looked at the statistics, it's wild. Whatever country ever hosts the games, they always have like the best Olympics they've ever had. So outside of the U.S., of course, the Olympics are coming. The Summer Olympics are coming next to America in Los Angeles. So just really great. 65% of the medalists were first-time medalists. So 2/3 first-timers, 1/3 had done it before. 6 world records were set by Americans. As we just, it's just like winning here. But that's what we're talking about. How do you win? Katie Ledecky added 4 more medals, so that she's now the most decorated U.S. woman Olympian of all time, which is, incredible to be at the very top for the women. Of course, Michael Phelps is massively ahead of anybody else with almost 30 total medals, which is just mind-boggling to even consider. And people that, you don't know much about, but I mean, they need to have their day in the sun. Vincent Hancock, probably never heard of him, but he won the gold medal in the men's skeet for the 4th time. Yeah, for the 4th time. There are just a handful of people. I'll order a U.S. discus thrower, Paul Levstrom, who was a one-person sailing gold medalist from Denmark. A guy named Millán Lopez, which is a Cuban heavyweight in Greco-Roman wrestling. And then 2 other super famous Americans, Carl Lewis, 4 gold medals in U.S. long jump, and Michael Phelps, 4 gold medals in the 200 individual medley. So that is some rare air. Rare air. Another incredible, Ryan Krauser added his third straight Olympic gold medal in shot put. So that had never been done before. I know we're just talking about four people have done it 4 times, but in the shot put, never been done. So just absolutely super impressive. And of course, Simone Biles, very well-known gymnast. And she now has 11 medals, including 7 golds, making her the second most decorated women's gymnast in Olympic history. So it's just super, super impressive what these Olympians were able to accomplish. It's just, wow. But how did they do it, right? How did they do it? Well, they prepared to win. No one gets a gold medal without years and years and years of training. Preparation is what separates winning and losing, victory and failure. This is, Coach used to always say, the will to prepare to win is greater than the will to win. We talk a lot about the will to win, but you have to have the will to prepare to win. If you don't have that, you are not ever going to actually get to the place of winning. Just vitally important. Vitally important to be on the preparation side. Now, again, when you hear preparation, the word that goes along with preparation, it's also a P word, is practice. And, you can't help but think of like the famous Allen Iverson, practice. We're talking about practice. Practice, yeah, you have to prepare. It's preparation today that gives you focus for tomorrow. So preparing to win. Are you preparing to win? Really everyone's preparing. They're either preparing to win or preparing to fail, preparing to lose by their lack of preparation. Preparation brings focus into where you're going in your life. So here's just a great question. What are you preparing for? Can't win if you don't know what you're preparing for, don't know what game you're in. Kind of hard to prepare. And even something like, are you preparing others? Like, how are you helping others to win? What are you doing with your preparation? And you think about just Olympians once every 4 years. I mean, it's kind of incredible, right? Like all this preparation for years and years and years. For most sports, it's a season and there's, not that big of a break. Here we are now in football season, greatest season there is of the greatest sport ever invented. And, you have to wait somewhere around, 5-6 months between games. But the rest of the time, you're preparing. But that's nothing. Like 6 months of preparation, 7 months of preparation. I said 5, I guess it's more like 7 months, 6 or 7 months between games. So you're preparing. That's nothing compared to these Olympians that are preparing for 4 years. So, just what does it take to just stay after it and stay after it and stay after it? And you just hear their stories of what they put themselves through. We all know about the swimmers and, they're just hours and hours in chlorinated water. A lot of them swim in the morning, early in the morning, and then they kind of have a break and then back at it again in the afternoon, day after day after day after day, week after week, month after month for 4 years. Now, again, there are competitions. Obviously, there are world championships. There are national championships. There's games. It's not 4 years without anything. But in terms of the thing that they all shoot for, I mean, in college, we call them Olympic sports, right? You have like these known sports like football, basketball, baseball, whatever. But there's that group, and then the rest are Olympic sports, and the Olympic sports are a large number. And in Olympic sports, they're championships are the Olympics. That's why they're called Olympic sports. I mean, there are national championships, there are world competitions, yes, but it really is all about the Olympics for those folks. So choose carefully what sport you want to be in. Could say the same thing about, what career you're in, what type of life you're pursuing. You just really need to think about it. Is it the kind of life that you're ready to do what is required? But again, go back to football, right? And I realize it's a little different now than back when I played. But, the whole idea of 2-a-days, believe it or not, there were even 3-a-days back in the day, morning, afternoon, and evening. But nobody really, loves the idea of going into maybe the hottest month of the year, August, and certainly maybe the end of July, and you're in camp. And I mean, it's tough, it's difficult, but it is what brings you success. When I talk to couples that are going to get married, I talk about preparation. In fact, when I kind of a famous message that I've done on where I compare marriage to a football season, and the preseason, the camp time is what I would call the pre-marriage. Like I'm just going to tell you this right now, so you heard it. No one should ever get married unless they first have prepared to be married. And preparing to be married is not like just living life on this earth and having experiences. I mean, there's something to be said for that. Dating different people, figuring out okay, yeah, I get that. But I'm talking about the person you're going to marry. There needs to be a clear preparation process for that. And every time I've ever prepared a couple to be married, the thing that just blows me away is how they always say to all their friends are like, we never did this. Their married friends, we never did this. Or, wow, you got to do 26 different exercises? Like, what? Like, you got to watch this and listen to this, and that's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work if you want to be successful in marriage, where half the marriages fail. I wonder why. There's no doubt. There is no doubt. You can write me, rickmcdaniel.com. You want to write me and tell me how I'm wrong about this. I would love that. How there is another reason why half of marriages fail more than preparation. It's by far the number one reason. You're just not prepared to be married. You got to prepare. You want to be successful. I mean, that's why you have to go to college to prepare for your career. You have to go to trade school, and one of my nephews is training right now to be a plumber. I mean, it's a whole process. Years. They have classwork, and then they have their first step in a process to be an apprentice. But to get to like master plumber takes years and years. So whether it's a trade, whether it's some type of professional career, whether it's marriage, whether it's sports, you name what it is, the preparation and training are just absolutely essential. And the thing, again, is that it brings focus to what role you're going to play. What your true priorities are. What are your true priorities? That's what preparation focuses you on. What role do you want to play? What do you want to do? What is it that you want to win at? That's it. You have to decide that. You have to determine that. Because listen, winners focus on winning. Haters focus on winners. That's how it works in the good old US of A. There's haters everywhere. Oh man, it's unbelievable. The haters focus on the winners. Winners don't care about the haters. It doesn't matter. They're not important. They're not significant. I'll write these articles that have huge readership, and then all these people write comments, and my friends will be like, I can't believe what people said. Did you read that? I'm like, no, I don't read that stuff. I'm the guy they asked to write the article. These are people who comment. They don't have any qualifications. And it's just, remarkable. People are going to say this, that, and the other when they have no credentials or experience or expertise. Like, I don't have time for that kind of silliness or foolishness, and neither should you. Winners focus on winning. And it's preparation today that will give you the focus for tomorrow. What else? Well, preparation today gives you confidence for tomorrow. When you train, when you prepare, then you know you can do it. You know you can do it. I've spent a career in public speaking, and when people ask me for tips or advice, I can get into the specifics and tell them, certain things. But of course, the very first thing that you have to always say to anyone is you got to prepare. Like, you got to master your subject. You got to know what it is that you're talking about. And when you do, you have confidence, and then that confidence comes through in your speaking. I was out in the Midwest speaking one time, and this guy came up to me afterwards, and he said, I just really never heard anyone speak quite like you. And I go, okay, what do you mean? He goes, man, it's just like you know what you're saying is right, and it's like the rest of us should just be like, yeah, this is correct, this is true. You just have such a kind of a certainty about it. And I would translate that into confidence, I've been doing this a long time, and I've put in the work, and I know what I'm talking about. That's what preparation gives you. It gives you the ability to have confidence in what you're talking about, so that you can go out and you can actually do what you believe you can do. You can deliver. You can ultimately bring it home. Just bring home the gold. These athletes are just like, they believe in themselves. They believe they're the best, and now they're just out there to try to show it, to prove it. But the confidence is there, and the ones that don't have confidence, they've lost before it's even started. They've already lost. I mean, what you learn from preparation, from training, if you would, is that it causes you to grow and develop. And the more that you grow and develop, the more you gain confidence. You have it. You've got the confidence. You just believe that you can do it because you've prepared yourself to do it, and you know that you've grown. You know that you've developed, and so you're ready to take on the challenges that are there, and it's a really a beautiful thing to see. In the Olympics, there was the 1 mile or the 1,500 meters, and the whole hype behind it was there's this guy from Norway who's very confident, and there's this guy from Great Britain, and they've kind of battled back and forth. The Norwegian guy won the gold medal last time, and remember, because of the pandemic, it wasn't 4 years; it was just 3 years. It's always 4, but because of the pandemic, so a little closer. And so, but the British guy had won the last world championship, so everyone was really focused on those two, and they don't like each other at all, and makes for a good a good story. But this guy from America, and we're not really known for our, way back, Jim Ryan, if you even know that name, Seth broke the 4-minute mark. That's when we were known for it, but we really haven't been that known in our 1,500 meter running. And then this guy, Cole Hawker is his name, he's good, but to say that, that he was going to win a gold medal, I just don't think that anyone thought that. And so they have the race, and the Cole Hocker guy sets a personal best by like 3 seconds, like a significant personal best, and beats these other two guys. It's like a huge upset. And then he's like being interviewed afterwards, and they're like, well, how did you do it, And he's like, yeah, I was pretty confident that I was going to be able to do this. And people are like, what are you talking about? The British guy and the Norwegian are the favorites. No one ever puts you in that category. And maybe they thought, yeah, maybe he can medal. Maybe he can get a bronze, but nah. And there's another American guy, by the way, who's pretty good as well. And I think some people would say better than this guy. So, but you could just tell the confidence from this guy. And where does that come from? Well, it comes from preparation. He knew he was running better. He knew, in his practices that his times are coming down. So then, this leads to just one more, which is preparation today gives you success tomorrow. I mean, all the hard work of preparation, guess what? It's worth it when you receive the gold medal. Like all the work, all the practices, all the getting up early, all the lifting of the weights, all the running, all of the effort and work and day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, all of it, all of a sudden, worth it? Yes, because there's absolutely nothing like winning. Winning is just the greatest thing, the funnest thing. The most fun I've ever had in my life is winning. Winning is so fun because it's such a capstone of all this hard work and preparation and everything that you have to go through. And by the way, we're going to spend 4 weeks on this, so don't think that preparation is all there is to winning. We're going to get into all aspects of it. It's coming. So this is just the first episode of 4. But preparation just, will lead to success. It will. Each day you're preparing is each day you're succeeding, and each day compounded upon one another ultimately brings you to where you want to be. And the thing about winning is how it just makes you forget all the hard challenge. We're going to talk next week about sacrificing for success, so we'll get into that in great detail. But, the pain and all of it, it's just like, oh man, you forget it all because the sweetness of winning is so great. So what do you want to win at? I can tell you, just talking about the new book coming out, it's super hard to write books. It's just really difficult. It's just it's really hard. And this will be my 9th book. So how do you, if something's so hard and unpleasant, difficult, how do you get to 9? Because when the book comes out, it's just so thrilling. And when people write you and tell you how great it is and how it changed their life and how it helped them so much. And, it just makes it all worthwhile. Here's what I can tell you too. This is a good little one. It's always better to prepare than to repair. Better to prepare than to repair. You don't want to, too many people spend their life repairing, which is, screw-ups, mistakes, mess-ups, things they shouldn't have done. And so it's just like you're spending winners are not repairing. Winners are preparing. The victory, the success, the accomplishment comes from training, from preparation, from doing what has to be done. That's what gives you the success. If you're in repair mode, you just don't get there because you can't be in repair and prepare at the same time. So you got to focus on the preparation. You got to focus on your training. And again, when you do, then it gives you the focus. When you're working on preparing and training, it gives you the focus and it gives you the confidence. And ultimately, it gives you the success that you're after. All the preparation and the training is worthwhile. So whatever you're after, whatever you're trying to achieve, whatever you're seeking after personally, professionally, financially, spiritually, academically, whatever it is, athletically, it's preparation. Keep preparing, keep training, and when you don't want to do it, don't quit when you're tired. Quit when you're done. I'll see you next week.
You've been listening to the Point of Impact podcast with Rick McDaniel. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to you joining us for our next episode.